What's up, fanboys and fangirls? Welcome to episode number 25 of the Reviewpoint podcast, coming to you from fanboysanonymous.com. I am your host, Tony Mango. Joining me on the panel tonight, Chris Dace.
What the ass?
Larry Duber.
Hi.
And Caitlin Dooley.
Hey.
So if you're unfamiliar with how Reviewpoint works, it's pretty simple. We break down whatever is in our sights for this episode, and we review whether or not we think it was a hit or a miss. Basically a positive or a negative, a thumbs up, a thumbs down. That's just the stupid way that we refer to it on this one. And today our target is going to be Deadpool, the latest edition in the X-Men film franchise, which is kind of an offshoot. And the reason why is because Deadpool himself is kind of an offshoot. So I want to warn everybody well in advance here. If you have not seen the movie and you don't want to be spoiled and know what happens, then bookmark this. Watch it later after you've seen the movie, because there are going to be spoilers on this review. So no bitching in the comments about how we ruined a joke or anything like that. Telling you in advance, we're going to talk about this shit. So let's just dive right into this. First impressions, Dace, what do you think?
Absolutely loved it.
Top to bottom, awesome, right?
Oh, yes. As a guy who reads the comic books, I was thoroughly pleased.
Yeah, you probably read the comics more than anybody here, so we're going to dive into that a little bit later on. But Larry, what did you think? What were your first impressions?
I enjoyed it a lot. I liked how the breakup of the story, how it was like not one consecutive storyline, that they pieced it, together in little bits. So it kind of kept you, excited, and then Wade's a good guy. Yeah, you feel for Wade. And I know Chris loved it. I think he was 3 seats down. He was slapping his knee.
It's one of the knee slapping movies. He was playing the spoons too.
Kitty is a schoolgirl. That's what I was.
Caitlin, what about you?
I thought it had the perfect amount of action and comedy in it, and I was like dying laughing even before the credits finished in the beginning.
Now, the three guys on this panel, we all saw this in the same theater at the same time. Caitlin, you're in a completely different state from us. Before we get into some specifics, I'm curious. We had a good audience that was really cracking up throughout the whole thing or whatever. What was the rest of the people that you were surrounded with like?
So I live in Florida. So, I just moved here from New York, so I'm not used to theaters being empty, especially for like an opening weekend. So I get there early, like I usually would when I was in New York. And I was like, this place is really empty. So I'm sitting there and I'm watching people like start rolling in as like
on wheelchairs, right? Because it's Florida.
Yeah, well, yeah. There's one. Like they're all like walking in during like all the previews, and I'm just looking around. I'm like, shit, this place is still empty. And it was just filled with mostly teenagers at that point. They're kind of annoying because they wouldn't shut up.
Larry, you mentioned this, the plot structure, kind of build it around flashbacks. You're going back and forth between the opening sequence, which is the actual action sequence that we saw before that they leaked on the internet as like test footage. And I didn't really see that much of a difference between that and what we ended up getting.
No, yeah, they definitely went ahead and that little promo kind of hinting we might actually make a Deadpool movie if everyone watches this video. They kept that. I mean, he didn't say bananas, B-A-N-A-N-A-S, a little different song, but it was, and the picture was different too.
Yeah, I mean, you could tell that this was just something that was in the script that they thought would be a good way to like pitch the movie. But they tweaked little things here and there, which is for the better, because if it would have been the exact same footage just to save money, it would have been like, all right, guys, that's a little cheap. But I actually had a little bit of a problem with the flashbacks. I mean, this movie, I like the movie a lot, but it's not perfect. But I didn't like how it was kind of, you dive into it, you flash back, you go back, you come here, you do this, you do that. I don't know. I do like movies that can do that from time to time. Pulp Fiction's one of my favorites ever, and Memento was just insane. But I don't know. I think I would have kind of liked something to be a little bit more linear. Doesn't really hurt it though. I mean, it's not going to be something where I'm just going to be like, oh, don't watch Deadpool because it's got flashbacks. It's not that big of a fucking deal. Dace, what did you think about the flashback structure?
It was cool to disconnect from the Deadpool character and then go back to Wade, but kind of to the point that it bugged me a little bit because it made it choppy.
Mhm.
You're sitting there and you're laughing your ass off. He's doing all these funny things as Deadpool, and then we cut back to the serious stuff real quick, where he still tries to be funny, but there's a lot of serious underlining tones there. And plus, as a comic book reader, his origin's never been solidified up until this movie. It's always been an ambiguous origin. He was always just the kind of like, oh, well, I did this. Like, he just kind of made up shit as he went. So they did a solidified origin story. We're not saying that's bad. It was good. It chopped up the rhythm a little bit for the movie.
Yeah, it was a little hard to go from like lots of action, fun. This is great to see people get killed, and then the next scene, it's like you're supposed to be feeling sad that he might die, because then you just watched everybody die, and you're laughing at death, and it's sort of the opposite.
Like someone yelling, "Cancer!"
Yeah, a little bit. Caitlin, any thoughts on the flashbacks?
I didn't hate the flashbacks. I thought it was done really good.
So let's start diving into... Or, go ahead.
I was gonna say, but yeah, it did kind of make it a little choppy now that you mention it. So you start laughing at one thing, all of a sudden it's like, oh, but then you're laughing again. So
Yeah.
Like he's flying into the car because he just got hit by Colossus. He's like, oh, well, I'm just gliding through time and space. Flashback.
Yeah, or like that part where he's like, I forgot what he says exactly, but he's like, I just made a kebab out of this guy. And it goes back to some sappy thing.
And then when he turns back around and then he's back into the kebab and you're like, oh yeah.
And then it instantly like rips him apart. And I was like, oh, okay.
So character breakdown here, hit and miss. Let's kind of go through the list here. Obviously, the one we need to talk about the most is Deadpool himself. I mean, titular character. Days from the comics, we've been having this discussion for 8 years now, I think, ever since X-Men Origins Wolverine came out, that isn't Deadpool. When are we going to get real Deadpool?
Where they completely fucked it up.
Yeah, where you take the merc with the mouth and you shut his fucking mouth. I don't understand their philosophy behind that. It's ridiculous. That's like going, well, we need to make another Wolverine movie, but can we like not have him heal and have claws and shit? Like, so stupid. But we finally got Deadpool now.
It was him. I would say it was about 80% him. The only other 20% would be the voices inside his head, which he kind of did. He talked to himself from time to time, but it didn't take away from what the movie it was. Walking out of this movie, I was very satisfied with what they did with Wade Wilson / Deadpool. I thought it was great.
Do you have like a favorite Deadpool-ism in the movie that was just kind of like, that's so Deadpool, you know?
I'm glad they worked in breaking the fourth wall to the point where he actually moved the camera, and then he did the whole stick where he's like, it's fourth wall within a fourth wall. This is like the 16th wall. So those type of things were funny, and the way he would always make references, like slipping in the Hugh Jackman stuff, even though they couldn't get Hugh Jackman to do Wolverine. That's the type of stuff that he would do in the comics. And my favorite joke of the whole movie had to be when he took a shot at the studio for only being able to afford 2 X-Men.
Yes, that's actually my favorite one too. It's almost like the studio couldn't afford any more X-Men. Oh man, I was dying at that part.
And he did stuff like that in the comics when it came to the writers. He would just fucking chastise the writers as he was going through the comic book as well. So I think they did it very well. The only component they were missing were the voices, but I don't think they were needed.
One of my bones to pick about this movie, no yellow thought boxes.
Yeah.
I was really expecting it to be a guarantee. Like, at some point, a little box is going to pop up of what he's thinking, and he's going to turn around, look at it, and just kind of be like, oh, that's what I'm thinking. You guys are reading that. That's kind of perverted that you're reading my thoughts, or something like that.
Mm-hmm. The other thing that disappointed me, too, was he didn't outright acknowledge Stan Lee. Like, he should have been like, oh, that's the creator, or like, that's the Watcher. Like, they just blew it off, where there was so much they could have did with that.
I kind of thought that would have been the case, too, because Stan Lee was talking about how this was his favorite cameo he's ever done. And I'm like, all right, well, does that mean that, like, he's actually just going to walk up to Deadpool and Deadpool's going to be like, hey, it's Stan Lee. This is his cameo in the movie, guys. You know, applause or something. But instead, he's just at a titty bar. Stan Lee, perverted old 90-something-year-old man, is just kind of like, I like the one with tits. Like, can't blame him. Larry, what did you think about the Deadpool character? You're not too familiar with him from the comics, right?
Nah. I knew when they did that Origins movie that they really fucked him in such a way that it was just like, is that really what Deadpool was? Like, I knew what he was then. But no, I love the fucking character. And one thing about it is how much they did put in detail between Ryan Reynolds as when he was Wade and then he was Deadpool. Because I looked at it as like, again, the mask. The mask was beautiful. I loved the mask, eye emotion, the mouth emotion, and it made me wonder if he was without the mask, can Ryan Reynolds do the same thing? And near the end, when the little teen punk X-Men girl was nice, Ryan was like, oh, like the shock look. His face looked perfect. The mouth was open, and I was like, because they really, like on the mask, they really showed the detail of an open mouth, and I was happy to see that. It's not just a digital illusion. Like I feel like they might have, masked his face with those little dots that make everything get red, digitally, and like they really give a good reflection. And that built that character for me. A script is a script, and I mean they could, they did great on it. But I really felt like there was a connection between Deadpool and Wade, and he's just a fucking ass. I love him. Watch, it's going to trend now. I want a man like Deadpool. Like if I see that shit happening, I'll be so mad.
Well, then everybody needs to start being psychotic.
Yeah, just start killing people.
Yeah,
You killed someone for me, I love ya.
Bitches like murderers, right? That's going to be the meme going around.
Bitches love murderers. Mutants.
That mask actually is something that really they deserve a lot of props for, and pun intended. The idea that they took something that we never see in comic book movies. We never get the little eye slits, the little white iris kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
We had it one time so far that I can remember, and that was in The Dark Knight when Batman had the little visor thing going on where he could spy throughout the town with the cell service and whatever. It looks like we're getting it for the armored Batman and Batman v Superman, but they always stay away from it, and it's always just like, let's cut out the eyes because we want to show the actor's eyes, and like, fuck, I hate that. This was Deadpool from the comics. You couldn't have done that with the normal eyes being seen through there. And they actually showed that in the movie. One of his variations of the costume was him with the eyes cut out, and it would have been so
it looks
awkward.
so stupid.
Yeah, it works when they bring it up as like him trying to make his own thing and it looks stupid. And I don't know if that was like an in-joke that they sort of like flew by as just sort of like, well, we don't need to draw attention to it or not, but I really think they deserve a lot of credit for pulling off that suit, because that's the most comic book accurate suit I can imagine them doing.
Yeah, it was. It was really... I loved it. Again, it was great. It was a great outfit. He took the suit home.
Yeah, he did. He actually did take the suit home. He specifically said that after years of waiting, he just walked off with the suit one day, and they're like, "You going to take the suit off?" And he's like, "Try and take it off me." Just like, it's my fucking suit. Man.
And then, like, I read after that, too, that Ben Affleck wanted the Batman suit, and he said, "No, Ben, $100,000, and you keep the suit."
If I was Ben Affleck, I'd be like, all right, let me write you a check. He has a bat cave in his fucking house. You need the suit.
Yeah, I know.
And you need the plexiglass stuff where you can put the suit in, so that way when you go into the bat cave, you just look at that and grimace.
But people in their suits. Remember my mask?
Caitlin, your thoughts on the Deadpool character and how it translated from comic to this movie?
I haven't actually read the Deadpool comic, so I can't really say much about that. But I do want to say that Ryan Reynolds is definitely Deadpool 100%, as much as I know.
Perfect guy to play him.
Yes, I don't think they could have cast anyone better.
Mm-mm.
I think there's only one person that could have been decent, and that's Sean William Scott, the dude from American Pie.
No. It's Ryan Reynolds. Come on.
Yeah, and I mean, Ryan Reynolds, too, he's got that body build, too. Like,
yeah.
I mean, his shoulders are broad. Sean William Scott, he, like, like, that's all he'll be fucking doing. Like, switching the fuck out and just laughing at people as they get away. Like, no. Ryan Reynolds had that whole attitude, like, like that shock, yet he still had the whole, I'm gonna fucking spell your name out for you, Francis. Like, that was great. It's so good.
Yeah, you can tell that this is Ryan Reynolds' baby.
Yeah.
That's movie.
Yeah. Like, some people are just born into a certain role.
Mm-hmm.
Like how Tom Hiddleston was perfect for Loki. Like I don't think
yeah.
anyone could have done either one of them better.
It's so weird to think that he auditioned for Thor first. It's like, dude, you're not Thor.
Like no, come on.
I just imagine like everybody auditioning for the wrong roles in that movie. Like Anthony Hopkins comes in and he's like, I really want to play this Darcy character. He would have done a better job. Let's talk about the love interest, Vanessa, who I actually didn't really realize until afterward when I'm checking it out. This is Copycat from the comics. Dace, fill us in a little bit on Copycat.
Yeah.
That's what it's one of his earlier love interests, and that's what they were like. Vanessa is the name of Copycat, but then I was reading things that maybe it's not technically her. It was very weird the way they were building this character, but the fact that her personality copied that of Wade Wilson's, it kind of makes sense. One speculation was brought up by Kerbin was that maybe this is Domino. I thought left ballpark. This is Lady Deadpool because she was everything, all her mannerisms, everything, the way she was talking was exactly just like Wade. But when I came home and started reading on it, I did notice they were pointing towards Copycat.
Yeah, now I'm not too familiar with her all that much from the comics. I kind of like vaguely remember her look, and if I remember correctly, I mean, her name makes sense, but that she's just kind of like a mimic, and that might be it. But then again, practically everybody in X-Men has some kind of telepathic power, so she probably has that too. But I was surprised when I started looking into it that, like, there actually was some kind of a precedence that they built around for the story. I thought they were just kind of throwing in some elements and making something on their own. I didn't know that she was actually that much of a love interest.
I thought she was going to die because every Deadpool comic you read and everything you look into when it comes to Deadpool, he doesn't have happy endings. That's what makes him the anti-hero. And when he got the happy ending, spoiler alert, he was kind of like, okay, this works. That's nice. But why? Like, he's Wade Wilson. He's not supposed to be happy.
Maybe she'll die in the beginning of number 2.
Hopefully.
Probably.
That would be funny.
Oh, that would be funny.
It's like she just gets the opening scene, a bullet just hits her, and he's like, motherfucker!
Fuck!
Motherfucker!
I didn't get to show my enormous dick!
I know exactly what he would have said, though. He's like, motherfucker!
Right.
You survived the last movie!
Yeah.
Which would make it interesting if she became Death. Because that's his, like, hardcore love interest in the comics.
I think they're going to stay away from Death.
No, it's stupid.
And I think the main reason why is because I think Cate Blanchett, they're going to merge Hela, I think it's Hela, and Death in Thor.
Boo.
So I think they're going to stick Death to, like, how, you know, you can kind of have a little bit of crossover between different studios, like we've gotten Quicksilver in both, but then they killed Quicksilver off real fast in Avengers.
Yeah.
So that might have been like, yeah, you can use them for one movie, and he better fucking die, because everybody likes our Quicksilver instead, which, in retrospect, I like the Avengers one better. Unpopular opinion. But I think that they're going to stay away from Death. I think that they did enough here that they worked in that he is going to regenerate enough that he doesn't need the Death storyline, you know? So, maybe not. But there is Domino, if they want to do that. There's Lady Deadpool, there's Death, there's there's Blind Al. Could always just do that love interest.
Blind Al.
Dude, I know it's probably going to not come up because it wasn't a major character, but I went apeshit for Bob.
Oh, dude, I actually had a note about that, yeah, because Bob was great. I was just kind of like, man, it's a shame that they don't have Bob out here. And as soon as he interrupts the fight, and he's just like, wait, Bob? I'm like, yeah, Bob's in the fucking movie.
I was going nuts. I was smacking my seat. I was like, yes, he made it! Somehow he surpassed Hydra and still became part of the movie.
Yeah.
So good.
Which, you know what, that actually brings something up. They couldn't call him Bob from Hydra because they can't use Hydra.
Mm-hmm.
Just the same as they didn't use Madam Viper, I think her name is, from the Wolverine.
Mm-hmm.
That end fight, was that supposed to be a helicarrier?
It
I
felt
think
like
so.
it.
Yeah.
Damn
I
sure
think-
seemed like it.
Yeah, I mean, what the fuck else is gonna be that big?
Yeah.
You know? It's not gonna be wasn't like looking like a ship. That's the thing. Like, it had such a flat, curvy, like a real heavy curve. So I think it was originally one of those carriers, but they didn't get the okay. So
Yeah, it's like they took a helicarrier, flipped it off on its side, and took off the shield logos.
mm-hmm.
But they didn't refer to it, and I'm actually surprised that they didn't refer to anything from the Avengers stuff.
Called
Not
him
that I can
Captain
remember.
Deadpool.
Like, there wasn't any reference to this being outside of the MCU. There wasn't a reference to, like, Joss Whedon. Like, none of that stuff. It was just, let's stay in the Fox universe, other than Green Lantern.
That
But
was
what the
funny.
hell? I mean, they had to reference Green Lantern.
They shot it. They took a couple shots at that too. Not
Yeah.
even just one.
Actually, I got a huge kick out of the action figure from him being Deadpool when he
Yeah.
opened up the CD, because that was again a great transition that they did from his present fighting to the past. Is that he was sideways, and then they faded into the action figure. You know, after he's been in love with so far and everything, but that was funny.
Yeah, talking about how, like, things could be worse.
Yeah. Indeed.
Let's see. We had a Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead as our representatives for the X-Men series. I've never had heard of Negasonic Teenage Warhead before.
That was the first time for me.
Yeah. But man, is she like Gen Y?
Hot. She's got like a great chest. Like, I honestly thought she had like a nice body to her. She could
I thought so,
explode
too.
She could explode on my dick. And then I'll die. At least I went out with a bang.
Literal and figurative.
Yeah.
So, what did you guys think of those two being the X-Men people from this universe? Because when they first announced that it was going to be like, well, Colossus in this movie, I was like, what? Why? Why Colossus? I like Colossus, but it didn't make any sense to me. And then it was like, and the other person that he's training is Negasonic Teenage Warhead. I'm like, all right, now you really fucking lost me.
I mean, I look at it this way. Colossus is just a big metalhead, and she likes metal music. So maybe that's why she liked him. But in general, like her powers though, like I don't know if she was ever to go ahead and have a fit, but I would think he'll be able to take her fits, you know, with her little kinetic meteorite smashing ability. You know, I mean, I honestly thought she only had to run to burst. Because again, in the trailers they show her like, and then she like just tackled the girl, but then she's underneath fucking pieces of metal, like just going next to the walls, like she's just fucking exploding everywhere. So it kind of lost me on that. I wish she did more like physical movement. I wish they had her like falling and then she exploded.
I feel bad because I feel like they were kind of victim to the studio. They have all these other major X-Men pictures going on, so they kind of got the D-list X-Men, but Deadpool made them work because Colossus being the moral compass and him fighting with Deadpool all the time, like especially the whole scene about language. Like I think Deadpool told him to go kick their ass or something like that, and he said language, and Deadpool's response is suck a fucking cock. It was just like his response. So Colossus played off very well.
Yeah, back a couple years ago when they said that they originally were working on the movie, if they would have said to me, okay, well, this movie's about like a revenge story and whatever, I would have been like, oh, okay. And then if they would have said, and Colossus is the straight man in the comedy act, I would have been like, you, what? Like, but it works. I mean, he's this big lumbering, like, baby in comparison. And I actually like this Colossus better than the ones we saw in the X2, X3, and Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
Suck it, Daniel Cudmore.
It was good. He was a good play on. Well, Ryan Reynolds carried so much of this cast because the rest of the cast wasn't that great.
No, that's actually one of my flaws. Is the acting is subpar in a couple different ways.
But like the way Ryan fired back as Deadpool on everything, it made the other ones look so much better. And I think that's what made him. We were too busy enjoying Ryan Reynolds to notice what was going on with the other people.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Caitlin, do you have any other thoughts on like Negasonic Teenage Warhead and Colossus and how they worked into the movie, or any specifics or anything?
Other than that being the coolest name ever, I have nothing else to say.
You mean Colossus being the coolest name, right?
Sure.
Pietro.
Actually, I got a huge kick out of how Deadpool was trying to punch him, and when he dick punched him and broke his wrist.
Yeah.
Gave him dick
I like
punch.
that whole part. That whole scene was like hilarious.
I liked when Deadpool called out Negasonic Teenage Warhead on her whole like, well, you're either gonna have like some pithy, bitchy kind of comment or silence. Which one is it gonna be? And she's just like, "Wow, you backed me into the corner here." Like, that was a good observation, and it was a little weird to imagine that we've gotten to a point now where we've had so many X-Men movies that we actually had a literal scene where Colossus is eating breakfast, just like. Talking about how, yeah, like now we're at that level of X-Men movies. We went from, holy crap, we can't even get non-leather outfits to, yo, there's that breakfast scene. Actually, this might be the second breakfast scene we've had. Wasn't there something in the first one?
I believe Logan was eating cereal in the X2.
It might be that, yeah. He does drink the Coke, which is like the best moment out of anything that Bobby ever does. Just, blowing into it. Hey, thanks. A little disappointed that there was no actual Hugh Jackman in the movie.
I was hoping for it so hard that he would show up, but I think they compensated for it very well.
That post-credit sequence, I thought for sure was going to be him.
Mm-hmm.
They also had that mask underneath the mask.
Yeah, where he's got it stapled to his face. And, how did I get this movie? Well, I had to perform fellatio and somebody that rhymes with Pulverine.
Yeah, that was a good point.
I think they took enough cracks at him for him to actually sort of somewhat be in the movie without actually being in the movie.
Yeah.
Still, I'm curious why they didn't put him in there. If it would have been like... Maybe that could have been it, yeah.
He might not have been in shape.
Well, they probably could have gotten away with not showing him too much.
Or he
in
could
there.
be filming something else and
He could just be
scheduling conflict.
busy. Yeah. Because they did kind of rush this movie a little bit. I mean, after waiting fucking 10 years.
Yeah.
Total opposite of what should normally happen. What else we have here? The villains Ajax and Angel Dust.
Francis.
Blah.
He got his name from a dish soap.
That was another thing too. The character build, like, I know it wasn't much between them two, but it was. It was very funny, and he's like, "I'm gonna say my name." He's just like, "You fucking spell it out for you." Like, I thought that was funny.
That was funny.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is definitely something Deadpool would do.
I liked how literal that was too, because as simple as it is, like, "Oh, I'm gonna spell it out for you," it's just like, "Oh, that's just a badass line to say," but then he literally spells it out for him. It's
I
just
wasn't
like,
expecting that, actually.
neither was I.
If he was gonna spell it out, I thought it was gonna be during a fight, like, "Ugh," or like he did. The
Yeah.
That's not though. Like, he's gonna be punching his face and, like, saying it.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything like that instead of just like, let's cut off limbs and stack them up to say Francis.
And the poor guy who was the letter I was face down, ass up with his pants down.
Yeah.
Well, see, there's things like that I need to watch it a second time.
There's so many Easter eggs that I'm sure I didn't catch.
Oh, yeah.
They did a whole thing with Rent, that musical.
That would have went way over my head because I've never seen that.
Alright, he was wearing a Rent shirt when he was in the apartment during one of the flashbacks, and then at the strip club, he's like, "You can't buy love, but you can rent it 3 minutes."
Is that like a line from the movie? From the play?
Yeah, like, you can't buy love, you can rent it.
Uh,
He's like, 3 minutes. I think I was the only one that caught that one.
yeah, nobody was really laughing in the theater when I came to that line, except for the people that were just kind of like, "Yeah, he's gonna come fast." Like, you know?
right after the scene, we were during the Rent shirts. I'm like, "Oh, okay."
I was a
I
little
love
bit
Rent,
disappointed with the villains, I gotta say. They were a little bland, and they never actually specified what the purpose was that they were building these people for. I mean, I know that they said they were training like soldiers and stuff, but like who?
That guy,
What?
the guy with the helicopter, that was the deal. He gave him mutants.
Why didn't they just use
Like, I
Stryker?
want to know, like,
Yeah, that's what I was curious about. Why not Stryker? Why not like Henry Gyrick or Senator Kelly or like something weird like that? There's a lot of different people out there, and they didn't tap into it. Agent Smith was like, who is he working for other than the Matrix?
He was just there for pedophile jokes.
Yeah. Though that guy does look like he would be. Like, that's got to feel bad for that kind of actor where they look at you and they go, well, what kind of jokes can we make? Oh, well, you look like a pedophile. It's kind of like, oh, crap. They didn't put any makeup on. They didn't.
Like, we're in the vicinity of a school, so you might want to, get out of here.
Yeah.
And like they got the Jared jokes in there, which I thought was like, whoa, that's really soon.
Oh, wait, they got a Jared joke? I must have
Oh,
missed
Yeah.
they kept calling him like the footlong or something like that. He when he first encountered him when he was wearing his costume, he called him Jared.
Oh, I missed that one. Damn.
So you've seen and watched it more than once.
Yeah, well, this is definitely a movie you got to watch more than once. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't imagine just getting, like, some movies, it's like A Clockwork Orange. I can't just, like, pop that movie in and watch it. It's way too heavy. This will be the type of thing where it's just like, oh, shit, Deadpool. Yeah, I'm just going to watch that a little bit. Kind of like Kick-Ass, to an extent. But one thing I was really curious about was whether or not Gina Carano could act. And she can't.
And she can't. No.
So I'm very thankful now that she didn't get the Wonder Woman job. At first, it was just like, she's got to be Wonder Woman. She looks just like the character and all this. And then now it's like, oh, Wonder Woman would have been terrible. Then again, Gal Gadot might suck too. But in one line from a trailer of Batman v Superman, I'm more convinced about Gal Gadot than anything I saw with Angel Dust in this movie. Weasel, another character that we had here.
So good.
T.J. Miller, the person that I said would be totally cast as Chris Dace if we were to do a Chris Dace movie.
Yeah. That's me.
I like this character. I thought he was a great supporting best friend type of guy. I love the scene especially too where he shows him his face and he's just kind of like, yeah, like I can't look at you anymore. Just...
You're gonna die alone.
Big fan of the way that they used him in this movie though. I like that.
Yes.
And they didn't use the line from the trailer. I don't think you look like the inside of an asshole.
I don't think they used that one. They used the avocado one though.
Yeah.
I'm willing to bet those two went back and forth for a half hour.
Yeah.
All kinds of shit. And that's what they came.
And that's when the unrated version comes out, and it's going to be so good.
It's going to be 40 minutes long in that scene, just all the different outtakes.
It's like, you're haunting. You look like an avocado. I had sex with an older avocado. Thank you.
When I was doing a little bit of research before the movie, I looked up, and there's apparently a panel in some issue of some comic, I don't know what, probably like Deadpool number 372 or some shit. But there's one of them well before this movie came out where Deadpool says, I look like Ryan Reynolds crossed with a Shar-Pei. It's just great that it's like, so now we've gotten references where Ryan Reynolds is in a movie referencing Deadpool, who's in the comics referencing that he's Ryan Reynolds, who was in a movie referencing that. Like, it's just, there's this weird circular thing that's going around now.
Did you catch in the beginning where they threw in the People magazine or whatever magazine it was?
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds in the cover? The sexiest man alive.
Those opening credits were amazing.
Oh my god.
Like, written by some douchebag. And, like, so, like...
It's like, no one got, like, their actual name in there. It was all, like, all goofs.
And it's like female love interest and
the Green Lantern card.
Annoying teenager.
Yeah, the Green Lantern one about the money and whatever. Like, oh god, that was such a great way to open up this movie. Like, to just flat out, right off the bat, be like, "This is insanity. Strap in for the ride."
Now,
strap on.
Which that was also too. She strapped him.
The pegging scene,
like that part.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh my god.
It's just like, nope.
Nope.
Another thing that made me laugh too is the taxi driver.
Oh yeah, what's his name? Derpina or something like that. It's God, I'm on a blank on what his name is on here, but yeah, he was fantastic.
Kill him.
They did do another reference to X-Men. He's like, you're gonna talk to Professor Xavier. He's like, McAvoy or Stewart? I find this parallel universe is so confusing.
Dopinder was his name.
I remember that one.
Dopinder, so great. Like, there's somebody in the trunk room. Like, that what? That's not what I told you. Good job. I'm so proud of you.
That was so good. And the best part is too, he gets in a car accident. The guy probably dies getting hit in the trunk in the back.
I was concerned for him. I was hoping the after credit scenes is what was going to happen to the guy.
Right, yeah. Like, that would have been a good one. All right, you okay? All right, he's dead. Go get her.
I want to know if Dopinder is with the love of his life now.
Yeah. It smells like flowers. See, Deadpool number 2.
Just as we have all these offshoot movies where it's like, let's introduce Black Widow and then maybe she'll get her own movie and whatever like that. We need a Depender movie now.
We need a Depender.
Just the adventures of him in a taxi.
It's gonna be a Marvel Bollywood.
Do it.
Oh god.
Do it. You'll get my money opening night. Let's see. We didn't talk much about Blind Al, actually. She wasn't too big of a part of the movie. But
I love the part when he does it with the baby hand.
It's gonna feel huge in this.
That was good.
I loved her setting up the IKEA furniture.
And it just falls too.
Yeah.
I mean, the best part is that she's blind. I'm surprised she made it that far. But
Yeah, shit, it's better than I would do. The great way of like a send off. It's just kind of like, I love you, and there's what was it, like $1 million and crack and
There's cocaine next to the cure for
the
blindness.
cure for blindness. Good luck. And then the scene just perfectly caps off with Weasel, just like, you want to get fucked up?
I'm so hoping they take the Weasel character in future movies. I hope this is a huge franchise. In the comics, he always like 1 or 2 issues down the road, you don't hear from him, and then all of a sudden he's working against Deadpool for another like mercenary, and they have conversations where like Deadpool will just shoot him in the leg for fucking with him, and the interaction is great between the two of them. So with TJ and Ryan Reynolds, phenomenal in movie form.
You know he's going to be a big part in the sequel. It's got to be. And I wouldn't be surprised if Blind Al got a bigger role. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if Negasonic Teenage Warhead and Colossus come back instead of adding a different one. But they are talking about Cable.
Hey,
The end credit sequence literally says we're going to have Cable.
we have Cable. And not that Comcast shit. Real Cable.
And Keira Knightley's a possibility. I heard that she's got great form.
That Ferris Bueller tag was fantastic. I love that. What do you guys think about Cable as far as casting? Because there've been a lot of names that have been thrown around. There's Stephen Lang from Avatar. There's Mel Gibson. I've heard Clint Eastwood. There's so many different people out there. Is there anybody that stands out to you guys that you would like to see play Cable?
I think Lang's got the look, and I know, like, just breaking today, he's been training and is now, like, rallying the Twitter universe to help him get the role.
I'd be cool with it.
I'm okay with it. I think he looks exactly like him.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Caitlin, anybody that stands out to you?
No, not really.
Larry?
No.
I have to admit,
I gotta look up who Cable is.
I have to admit, I am very intrigued by the Mel Gibson idea.
No, God, no.
He's so off the wall crazy with the shit that he's done over the past couple of years.
Mel
He
Gibson
might be
needs
nuts
to
enough to
fall
play,
off
because
that.
he was Riggs in Lethal Weapon, and he was nuts in that. Like, imagine Riggs and Deadpool.
but I feel Cable is more structured than Mel Gibson.
Maybe, I don't know, but maybe. All right, let's do a compromise here. Stephen Lang can be Cable in the movie, but Mel Gibson's also in the movie.
He could be the metal half of Cable.
Do a composite Superman kind of thing
Yeah.
like that. Oh man, now I really want to see this too. Violence and the hard R was a big factor of this movie. A lot of people were really like, if it's PG-13, it's going to suck. I don't think it would have sucked necessarily, but it was a good thing that they kept the rated R kind of thing. Any thoughts on whether or not they should amp it up even more in the future, or if this was the right
Yes.
tone or anything? You want it even harder?
More, I like it harder.
Oh, fucking dirty girl. Tell me more.
Now we just earned all the thumbs up that we're going to get on this video.
Yes. You're welcome.
You know, honestly, too. Another thing is, keep it rated R, man. Like, and honestly, I like that they went sexual. I'm happy it wasn't just with the violence. It was the anal sex. It was the strip bar.
It was full on Ryan Reynolds' dick just flapping in the wind at one point.
What?
Yeah.
I
The
looked,
fire
yeah.
scene.
I'm gonna admit, I did look.
Wait,
I
there's a
unfortunately
scene.
looked.
Wait, there's a part where his penis was out.
When they're fighting, when he just gets out of the tube thing, and he's
Made
naked.
me feel confident. Let's
Oh,
just put it that
really?
way.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely should feel confident because I didn't even see anything.
I gotta go back and
No,
with his
no.
dick.
Ryan
You can
Reynolds
see
does
the
have a good
silhouette.
Huh.
dick. It was nice.
You know what? I'll give it to the man because there's only one other man I know that's okay putting his dick out, and that is proud of it. Kevin Bacon.
Yep.
Magneto did in some movie, I think, right?
No, Kevin Bacon. That's all that
Michael
matters.
Fassbender. I don't know. I don't really have like a running checklist of these movies or anything.
You need to get your dick list ready, okay?
Yes. I
New
want
New
the
feature at
exact movie
fanboysanonymous.com.
title. I want the time that the dick is present.
Yes.
I didn't know.
You got a new project
Oh.
to add to Fanboys, Caitlin.
Why me?
This is the dick
I'm not
list.
doing the research.
Brought to you by Caitlin.
You're the one that proclaimed that
This
she wants
goes
it
back
harder
to-
and all the other stuff,
This
too.
goes back to the Family Guy thing. When Chris was in the store, I forgot the other character's name. They're talking about boob. Like,
Oh, I love that character.
yeah.
You
He has
ever
it down to the
see
exact
whatever?
time.
That guy's awesome. Just give a show of that guy. Fuck, he should be in the next Deadpool, too.
Yeah.
That character, Mel Gibson, Deadpool. So awesome. Let's see. Any like wrap up kind of thoughts here as far as biggest hits and biggest misses. We already talked about the thing that I put down as my favorite biggest number one hit, which was the X-Men joke of the studio not affording anything else. My biggest miss, I would have to say, is the lack of the yellow thought boxes. I really was hoping for that. Just something that I've always thought was really funny about Deadpool, and you know, it wasn't 100% necessary, but I was disappointed. Larry, your biggest hit, your biggest miss of the movie?
My biggest hit. You know what? I really did enjoy the moments when he was without Blind Owl. I just love the idea that it was a home. You know, like he's been away for X amount of years. You know, he wasn't just living on the streets. He was living with a blind woman and fucking with her. I love that. I love that part of him.
The drive-by fart.
Yeah, drive by, like just little shit like that. I could just watch that random shit all day, and it cracks me up. Miss wise though, yeah, again, because I don't know much about the character, but I would definitely say more along the lines of his action was good, but I wanted him to get hurt more. I didn't see him using the fact that he could regenerate as much as I thought he should. You know what I mean? Yeah, he cut his own hand off and all, but I wanted him to get shot more. I wanted him to get cut more, pull knives out more. And I just feel that would have been funny because it's like, you know, just a beast. But hey, it's first movie, so you can't have it all.
Could have been a budget thing.
Yeah. Don't want to rip too many suits.
Caitlin, biggest hit, biggest miss?
I love how almost everything that they've said in the entire movie is just like hilarious and always tops whatever they last said. There's so many good quotes from this movie, but I do wish that he got hurt more. That would have been interesting to see. Other than like they did a good job with the whole tiny hand growing back. The student gets through puberty, you can go fuck shit up, but yeah, they could have done more with that.
Dace, biggest hit, biggest miss?
I think the miss is definitely they missed the boat on the Stan Lee cameo. They could have did so much more with it than with him being able to acknowledge the world. Also, I love the movie from start to finish, but I also felt kind of like gypped that Hugh Jackman didn't show up because Wolverine's a big part of the Deadpool allure. But big hits, the jokes were spot on. They were very true to the comics. I enjoyed the soundtrack a lot.
Yes, that's another good hit.
Yeah. Very like Guardians of the Galaxy kind of, where you take some old songs, you bring them back into the fold. I'm sure their iTunes sales are skyrocketing now for a lot of that shit.
Oh, I've been listening to the Deadpool rap nonstop.
That was so good. Captain Deadpool.
Yeah, it's such a good song. And it was actually written about the Deadpool game. So if you listen to the lyrics, it's talking about his whole adventure through the Deadpool game. But it's phenomenal. The movie stayed so true to the comics. I think that's a big hit. Something that most of outside studios don't do well. Hey, look at Fantastic Four. So I think that was a huge hit.
How can the same company that gave us X-Men Days of Future Past and this movie give us Fantastic Four?
the studio wrote it off. They were just like,
God
hey,
damn.
just go ahead and do your little thing over there. And then they did their little thing, and it became their biggest hit.
Whatever brain dead jackasses were working on that movie compared to the geniuses that even just did the marketing for Deadpool.
Mm-hmm.
The marketing for this movie was phenomenal.
Best out of everything's got to be that sign that was just the skull and the piece of poo and
Yeah.
L. That was, I was laughing so hard at that.
I love what the marketing too is on YouTube videos. You know, guys, check your testes. You know, him telling you, women, check your breast cancer. There's just videos of him telling you what to do and showing you, like, so random and it was so good.
The Halloween video where he just took
Yeah.
a camera out on his own and just started taunting little kids that were dressed as X-Men.
Yeah, like I mean that was amazing. I wish it continues with that. I hope it wasn't just for this one movie.
Oh, it's got to be continuing because Ryan Reynolds has had so much fun doing this stuff. He said that he wants to do this forever. Like as long as he possibly can be Deadpool, he wants to do it. So that's going to be a great sign for the future. This is making a shit ton of money. I think the last estimate for this weekend was 150 million, which is like there's movies that are like higher priority that don't make that much money. So this is breaking the bank, and oh man, they're probably kicking themselves right now going, shit, why didn't we do this before? We should listen to the fans that go, hey, if you make this movie, we'll go see it, instead of going, nah, you won't. So I think it's pretty simple that we all are giving this movie a thumbs up. I don't even think we need to go around and say anything to double check about that. Unless anybody does want to give it a thumbs down. Put it out there. Good.
Got real quiet.
The last thing we need to do is just go around here one more time, promote anything we have going on for plugs. Caitlin, anything you want to throw out for the people to follow you at or anything like that?
I have no life. Don't follow me.
You're going to get some stalkers that'll follow you for real.
Okay, follow me on Twitter. Live Quixotic. Enjoy having fun trying to spell that.
Larry, anything you want to promote?
No, I made a pizza in a cast iron pan. And it's delicious.
If you want to try some of Larry's pizza.
No, you're not trying any of my pizza, but if you want the recipe, look it up.
There's sauce, there's cheese.
Yeah.
Shit happens.
Pepperoni.
Dace.
Check out the Dace Man Show Tuesday nights on megapowersradio.com, and we are less than a month away from the Dace-tacular Gaming for a Cause, which this year we are playing for Alzheimer's. So we've already raised about $510. Let's kick ass. Woo!
Woo! All right, from my side of plugs, everybody obviously keep checking fanboysanonymous.com. Follow us all over social media. If you're on iTunes and Stitcher listening to this, subscribe to us on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, subscribe on iTunes and Stitcher. Go to smarkoutmoment.com for the pro wrestling side of things. Follow the All Talk Show at All Talk Show all over the place, and myself at A Mango Tree and at Tony Mango. That's it for this episode of Review Point. On behalf of everyone on the panel, as well as all the fanboys and fangirls that couldn't be here tonight, thank you all for listening and shooting the breeze with us. We hope you had fun, and we want you to know, we want to know what you guys think were the hits and the misses of this movie. So leave your comments below and tell us what you thought. This is Review Point episode 25. I'm Tony Mango, and I'm a fanboy. See you next time, everybody. Geeks out.
#drive-by.